Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Ascended Casual back again with another Xenoverse 2 video. So something I wanted to kind of end the debate on regarding, which race is the best race. This video is going to pretty much kind of get into everything that I keep trying to explain to y'all. I've made several videos for the most part explaining this, but not one just concise video getting into all of the things that I've been mentioning. So this is what that video is going to be. The first one I'm going to be kind of going over is female Saiyans, and the reason why I'm using female Saiyans is because everybody knows female Saiyans do more super and ultimate damage than male Saiyans. So if the male Majin does more damage than the female Saiyan, then there's no point in testing the male Saiyan because it's redundant. And so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my my makeup, basically, my stats, max Ki Blast supers. So by all standards and measurements, I'm doing the most damage I possibly can when it comes to stats. Skills, I'm going to be testing the Vanishing Ball, just because, one, that's the skill that Purification uses, as well as I don't know of a single other Ki Blast super that can just kind of link and combo off of each other, as long as you have the key. So that's going to be the main one I'm using. If there's another one that exists, that's fine, but it kind of still doesn't like change the point, really. And then for my equipment, I pretty much got nothing on. I have a QQ Bang that, for the most part, it's intended to just increase my ki. It does have that Ki Blast super increase, but the QQ Bang will be consistent between all the characters, so that's not going to be a problem. And then the Super Soul, all it does is give me maximum ki and like extra stamina just for testing purposes. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into the training just to show you guys the numbers of what I'm talking about. So something that I keep mentioning, and I don't think a lot of people seem to understand, is this concept of maximum damage output, like potential. And what does that mean? So the reason why I'm using Super Saiyan Blue Evolution over Super Saiyan Blue is because Super Saiyan Blue Evolution does more damage than Purification, and Super Saiyan Blue Regular does less damage. So there's practically no point in testing regular Blue, but the concern that I keep bringing up is Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution's constant ki drain. And why is this a problem? Well, it's a problem because every time the longer you're in this form, the more your ki drains. So if I'm using moves that consume ki, I'm not going to be able to use as many because while I'm using those moves, I'm constantly draining ki. So I'll go ahead and show you guys pretty much what I'm talking about by this maximum damage output. So let me go ahead and charge up, and I'll go ahead and get into the Vanishing Ball combo. So in the past, only male, I wouldn't say male Majins, but the Purification form could link these Vanishing Balls. I guess all races can now, but that really doesn't defeat the point. All right, so as y'all can see, I was able to do 51,615 damage before my ki completely ran out, and then on top of that, my Super Saiyan Blue Awoken Evolution ran out as well. So now I'm gonna have to charge all the way back up just to reactivate it, and it's just gonna be a pain in the neck. But I'll go ahead and swap into my Male Majin to show you what the maximum damage output's gonna be. So give me 1 second. Okay, so we're back, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys again what my makeup is. Again, 125 Ki Blast supers, skill set. I don't really need to worry about this too much just because I'm just going to be going immediately into Purification. None of this stuff is going to matter, and I don't feel like changing it just to have to put it back on. And then Ki Blast supers actually is like one less what's called boost to Ki Blast supers, but just to show you guys the margin of how different this is, I'm going to leave this on. Ki Blast supers, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution female Saiyan had an extra Ki Blast super than my male Majin. And then again, same Super Soul, just to show you guys. Just to have as much ki as possible, and then I'll go ahead and load up training mode so you guys can see the numbers. So give me 1 second. Okay, so we're back, and I'll go ahead and just get into it. I do that just because if you're standing on the ground, sometimes the move doesn't really get off as quickly as possible. Set training health to unlimited just so they don't die, ki to normal, and then we'll see what the damage difference is. Again, the main point is the fact that in Male Majin, well, in Purification or whatever other race, you don't have that constant ki drain like Super Saiyan Blue Evolution does. So already before even that last hit, I did more damage as a total. Remember, the female Saiyan Super Saiyan Blue Evolution does a little bit more damage per hit than the Male Majin. However, when you have the same amount of ki, you do more damage because the damage is close enough, and you not having that constant ki drain means that you can attack more by almost 10,000 more damage. And remember, the female Saiyan had that extra ki blast super damage where this Male Majin Purification didn't. So the female Saiyan had even more damage, like buffs than this, and the Male Majin was still able to easily come out on top when you put these things side by side. Now, you might be saying, oh, well, like what happens if I just do the meditation glitch with, data input and so on and so forth, and I just negate the female Saiyan Super Saiyan Blue Evolution? Well, the thing is, if you're looking at a side-by-side comparison, you have to treat everything as equal. So if you do that, then you have to also grant the same to Male Majin, and it ultimately evens itself out, because you might negate your ki drain and it might basically stop. But if I do the same thing, then I have a constant ki regeneration. So again, I'm still going to have more ki in the long run. And if anything, this is way more beneficial because having a constant ki regeneration is way better than just not having your ki drain. Like that's way better of a buff in my opinion. Now, I can already hear what you guys say, but a standard casual, but what about the beast mode? All right, the beast mode does more damage than purification, and it doesn't have the constant ki drain that Super Saiyan Evolution has. All right, so I want you guys to understand something and listen to me very close. Yes, beast mode again does more damage per hit with all their super moves and so on and so forth. And yeah, you will be able to get a bit more damage off and a total damage output than the Male Majin. However, one, the damage is not that significant. It's like literally less than like 2,000 more damage that you can get off. And then two, and I want you guys to pay attention to this, here comes the main issue with these comparisons. And this is especially prevalent with beast mode. Male Majins take less damage, and Super Saiyan like Blue Evolution takes less damage, but you do less damage as well. Beast mode might do more damage, but you also take more damage. Why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because when you are hitting a Male Majin, you aren't doing that full amount of damage. All right, remember, because the Male Majins have an inherent damage reduction, so you are still doing less damage overall than a Male Majin, because when you hit them, you do less damage. And the worst thing is, especially with beast mode, you take more damage. So the damage disparity is even greater. All right, does that make sense to all of you? If we are, and a lot of you guys don't like to understand this, and you're like, oh well, when I play and blah 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 blah. Like, no, when you are comparing races, you have to give equal stats and equal fair play, which means if I'm comparing races, I have to take personal skill out of this. If you're just a really good fucking player and you're successful when you play and blah 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 blah, that's good. That's great for you. But when you're doing when you're doing a race comparison, you have to assume both players, or you're playing at the equal skill with both characters. And what does that mean? That means when you're doing these numbers, you have to assume, hey, if I hit you with a vanishing ball, you also hit me with a vanishing ball. And those inherent attributes factor into both characters, where you do more damage with your awoken, but you do less damage because I take less damage. I do a little less damage with my awoken, but you take more damage, therefore I do more damage. And then again, the male Majin comes out on top. Does that, I don't understand why that's such a hard concept for you guys to grasp. And then again, if we're talking about, tit for tat, let's say each attack that we both do, we both land a full combo on each other, and then let's just say, for the sake of argument purposes, each time you get hit, it takes a little bit of stamina away. You just take stamina damage for every single hit. That's not literally how the game works, but just for purposes. If I have an inherent stamina regeneration and you don't, I'm going to regenerate and have more stamina overall than you. And also the thing is, because I have that inherent damage reduction, I am less incentivized to have to use my stamina. If anything, I'm incentivized to not use my stamina because I can actually take the hits. And a lot of you guys like to make disingenuous arguments. Be like, oh well, what about what's called characters that are modded or use infinite combo loops and so on and so forth. And I feel like this is a false argument because the point of what you're trying to say is, oh, what if your opponent does something completely not fair and something that you can't really fight against? Well, it doesn't matter what character you play at that point because they're not playing fair, as you pointed out. So why is that such a hot take for you guys? Okay. And you're like, oh, well, I can make this specific build to counter their spam and their cheap tactics or whatever. It's like, okay, anything that you can do with your character, a Majin can do at the same time. Okay, so if we're creating disingenuous arguments, anything that you're doing, a male Majin can do plus more, because we still have Ill Bomber, we still have Quick Sleep, and so on and so forth. Yes, anyone can make a build to counter any other specific build. But when you're talking about best race, you have to consider what is the most useful in the most circumstances, especially when fair play is assumed, and when both players have the same amount of skill, meaning they are able to hit each other just as much as the other. And then you factor in the character attributes. Okay, so again, the male Majin purification does more damage overall and a max damage potential per key bar of health than Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. The reason why I did not test Super Saiyan Blue Regular is because if I do more damage than Super Saiyan Blue Evolution because of that inherent key drain, and Super Saiyan Blue also has a key drain but just does less damage, then it's the same thing. There's no point in testing both. Yes, beast mode does a little bit more damage. However, the male Majin takes less damage, and beast mode makes you take more damage. So if we're attacking each other in equal amount, you are going to die faster than I am because your health is going to disappear faster than mine. And on top of the fact that, hey, if I have my super soul, I'm neither Kami nor Piccolo, and I've made a whole extra video about this, that gives me even more damage reduction and health regeneration, which is extremely useful because a lot of you guys like to bring up, oh, well, the Namekian has a better stamina regeneration than purification, male Majin purification. Okay, well, that is true. The issue with the Namekian is they cannot sit there and just constantly take hits because they don't have that inherent damage reduction. They don't have all the things that the male Majin does to be able to constantly, like just sit here and take damage and let every attack that you do fill up our ki, and then we'll vanish behind you and hit you with an ultimate. All right? Again, you have to assume equal skill. If the Namekian did the same exact thing that the male Majin did, we would take less damage and they would take more damage. That's the problem. So again, the male Majin is the best race. They do more damage than the female Saiyans' best transformations, and because the female Saiyan does more damage than the male Saiyan, there's no point in testing the male Saiyan. The female Saiyan does more damage than the female Earthling in Supers, so there's no point in testing the Earthlings. And if the male Majin purification does more damage than the Super Saiyan Blue evolution, key bar for key bar, and takes less damage and does more damage to beast mode, ultimately it does more damage and we take less damage. So that is how the male Majin is the better race, on top of the fact that we have extra skills that no other race gets to have, like the ill bomber. A lot of people are like, oh, well, the ill bomber is not that great of a move, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, you might feel that way, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have any use. And it's one more move that I have that you cannot have. And so if you don't think it's that great of a move, again, you're factoring in your own personal play. This, I don't play online. I don't play PvP. I play in the raid missions and so on and so forth that you guys have seen. And this comes in very extreme handy, as you guys have seen in other videos that I've made, when the raid boss is targeting me and I need for them to basically not be targeting me, because a lot of the times I will carry my entire team on my back and start reviving everybody, and that's the only reason why we even win the mission, is because the male Majin is so good that I can literally pick up the entire team and then get all my health back, and no one has to worry about trying to resurrect me. Like, all the videos that I've posted, I'm pretty sure not one time have I ever been downed. That's another reason why the male Majin is a better race. Can you tell me a race that could sit here and instant revive like 3 to 4 people and then not immediately die afterwards? And you guys will make the argument, well, the Saiyans, the Saiyans, they do more damage when their health is low. It's like, okay, if you have to wait until you're like basically a one tap away from dying to do a little bit more damage, how does that help you? Because if I'm already in the middle of attacking you and getting your health that low, then what's stopping me from just finishing you off before you get to that point? So, oh, okay, now I do more damage, but well, you're dead. What was the point? How does that help you? How does waiting until your health is almost completely done and gone going to help you if you're in the middle of being attacked? So I don't want to hear any more of this debate of, oh, well, the Saiyans are better because more damage. No, they don't. I just proved that. Saiyans don't do more damage. Female Saiyans do the most out of male and female, so there's no reason testing the male. And I literally just proved that they don't do more damage. And the same thing that what applies to Beast also applies to Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. Again, I already showed that per key bar, male Majins do more damage than overall than Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Saiyans. But if you also factor in the fact that I take less damage, male Majins take less damage, that damage disparity even increases even further. All right, so don't be coming up in any of my videos and talking more smack about this, because it's been disproven, and this was taken as of today. So if anything changes in the future, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to make another video or post, oh, this video is outdated or whatever. Eat a dick. I don't care. And another thing. So another thing about these transformations is Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, and Beast Mode take 5 bars of ki to access, where Purification only takes 3. So it takes you even more just to get into these forms, and Beast Mode literally takes those 5 bars of ki. So that means you're going to have to charge back up all those bars of ki just to be able to even start trying to do anything with your ki. And the entire time when you're in blue and you're trying to fight and you're trying to do all this stuff, you might get a little bit of ki back, but you're not getting much. All right, so it's a lot easier for the purification form to do and access everything versus the Saiyan or Beast Mode. And if anyone wants to like come at me and tell me, oh no, like you're wrong, like the first thing I want to see before you try and say anything is send me a video of you going to a crystal raid battle and reviving someone, or like at least 7 people, like revive people at least 7 times in one match. And I want you to have, it doesn't have to be a completely full bar of health, your health being completely full, but at least like the last bar before it hits this white that designates that it's full. And I want you to have the max damage, top damage out of everybody. Revive people that many times and have almost full health and have max damage. If you can do that, if you can send me a video of you doing that with another race other than Male Majin or any of the Majins, then we can talk. But until then, shut your mouth.
What is this? He's not just strong, he's immortal. This is a joke. Damn it!